All right, we're back. It's like we were just here. This is great. All right, let's minimize this real quick, and then we'll get to work. Let's not do that. There we go. So, all right, I probably should have fixed that before I started this. Anyways, welcome back to the shop. Today on this episode of We'll Make It Live, we're gonna finish this damn planter box. I did unmute the audio, didn't I? Yeah, cool. It's been a rough morning. As you can tell, I've already been in the shop cussing up a storm. So, finally got the false door to fit. Bring you guys in. Just a little closer. That's what I thought. This is the way my morning's been going. I have to minimize that. There we go. Now I can see chat. Yeah, there we go. Man, I'll have to work on that a little bit. But I finally got the door. That side's flush. And that side is flush. So, that's pretty exciting. I actually wound up having to move that dowel that was being the problem. I had to move it 3 times this morning. I still couldn't figure out why it was going sideways on me. I have to fix this real quick. There we go. Make sure that's working. All right. So all we have left to do is actually mill the lumber for the top rails here. Figure out how to attach them. So I came out, and instead of you guys watching me measure crap, I got that done this morning, along with getting the false door to sit flush. But I haven't, actually now that I think about it, I haven't glued this dowel in, so we'll do that real quick. Get some of my math out of the way. Is it this one? It's pretty snug. I'm just using super glue and activator to seal the deal on these dowels. But yeah, I wound up having to move this dowel 3 times this morning. Goofy ass problem. One, I didn't move it enough. And then the second time I moved it, but it wasn't centered with the plane, so that it kept wanting to go sideways on me and jarring shut. It wouldn't. Basically, it jarred itself from closing all the way. And then third time was perfect. Just gotta hope there's super glue left in this thing. I think I'm gonna go grab my hammer real quick just to make sure I can get this thing set in place. Yeah. Sounded like it's set good. Test it one more time. Let's confirm we screwed it up. Nope, we're good. Hell yeah. Alright, let's get it out of there before it super glues itself shut. So what we got here? Boards have to be 19 inches long, 1 3/4 wide, and 1/2 inch thick. And this big hunk of poplar is. I guess my mic came off. Interesting. Let's see if that stays on now. Wonder how long that's been dangling. Yeah, that's how the morning's going. Now this big chunk of poplar is way too big for my joiner. It can only do 6 inches, so we're gonna have to make it more manageable at the bandsaw here. I'm gonna check something. Check the stream health. Okay, says the stream health is good. I've had that happen before where you think everything's okay and turns out you haven't been broadcasting at all. But that's a woodworker and technology for you. There we go. It's a pretty good angle. And what I like to do is situate all my air hoses down here in a position where I know I'm probably going to trip while I'm operating machinery. Oh no, that one's stuck. Need my pencil. Adjustable square. And this board's so big I can't use a fence on my bandsaw. I have to kind of freehand it. So my joiner can handle 6 inches. So let's mark 5 and a hair under 6. I thought about cross-cutting this to the length I need, but I figured just go ahead, rip it to manageable chunks that I know I can use at the joiner, and then I'll always have that chunk ready to go for the future. Let's make it 5 7/8. Everybody being nice in the chat room there. Is that really 5 7/8? This is crazy, but I'm gonna have because this board, I think, yeah, I'm gonna have one little strip of like 3/4 inch in the middle. It's okay. I can use it. The lumberyard milled this to like 12 3/4 inches. Now I'm not actually going to get this thing painted today. My goal is just to get it glued and ready. I'll sand it and paint it off camera because that crap's boring. What's happening here? Is this board really that different end to end? So on this end it's 12 and a quarter. On this end it's almost 13 inches. Now I see why it was on sale. All right, we'll proceed as we were. But I'm not gonna cut, what we'll do is make a roughly 6-inch cut, and then after I get it cut at the bandsaw, I'll come back and mark another. That way I don't have just this oblong piece left over in the middle. Try to preserve as much as I can. I try not to waste wood, but I mean, ultimately at the end of every project you have a bunch of offcuts that they just sit around in your shop for however long you tolerate them. And then one day you're looking at them and decide you're going to the pit. I have to make the line really easy to see. The shop's so bright, sometimes I can't see it. That's a really big board. I don't think I've ever actually tried to manage something that wide at the bandsaw. All right, it's gonna get loud. Gotta use a dust collection.
That sucked. Let's go over here. Follow me, camera. I'm over here. There we go. So I thought I would make that a little less sketchy. Make it a little more manageable. Get out these like adjustable sawhorses or whatever the hell these things are called. Roller stands. And I forgot when I built the base for this bandsaw, it made it taller than the height of the rollers. So I wasted a few minutes there. Let's make sure this is under 6 inches. Cool. That's not good. We're going to lose some material there too. Crap. I wonder what happened there. Because this is, I bet that was too thin for the blade to hit. We are going to have to mill some extra. This board has some giant checks in it. Yeah, the other board had a few of it in there like that as well. So we're going to have to work around those. And I'm thinking, because 3 of these mitered pieces have to be snug, you know, like a seamless miter. And then the 4th one has to attach to the false panel for the door. And there's going to ultimately have to be a little bit of a gap. So I'm thinking glue the 3 together. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Either glue all 3 together or attach them one at a time to the base, to the carcass. I'm thinking one at a time is actually better. That way, if something's off, I can make adjustments on the fly. Plus, I think one side at a time is probably better because that the false panel, that's going to have to be unique. It's not like I can make 4 identical pieces. I could, and then just chop off a hair more on the miter. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. You follow me? Good. Making sure the stream is still healthy. I don't know if you guys could hear it over the dust collector. This bandsaw started making some wild sounds. I think I see why. I think one of my bearing guides slipped. And I just replaced this, yeah, okay, there we go. I'll zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to move the position of this. See this guide right here? We're going to have to fix that before we move on real quick. Should just take a second. I just got to find my hex keys. Wherever the hell I put them. I'm really lucky I didn't break the blade. I just replaced this damn thing. So it's a quiet group. We got a quiet group today, man. Nobody's saying anything. Damn it. Shouldn't really do this with it still plugged in, but grab a plain card because there's no happy medium here. It's either sticking right on the blade or it's a mile from it. I wonder if something's wrong with the chat room. Nobody's saying anything. Usually you guys are in here giving me crap by now. There's usually somebody in here telling me I'm doing it wrong. I know I'm doing it wrong. You know why I know? Because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try to access that Allen key without taking this damn thing apart. Is that the right size bit? Is my mic still up here?
Cool.
Let's see, we'll go down here. You see, this is why I quit working on my own vehicles. Everything's impossible to access. You know, the crap's designed by engineers that never work on the car. It's built by people with tiny hands. I think that's as snug as I can get that. Yeah, that's as snug as she's going to go. So hopefully that doesn't slip again. This is an oddly quiet chat room. I don't know if anybody's out there and you have my email or you know my... Let me know if something seems wrong with the chat room, because usually you guys are giving me major shit by now for being an idiot. And I'm not seeing it. had to fix the bandsaw because we're going to be going back and forth from the bandsaw to the joiner to the planer to the bandsaw to the joiner to the planer. I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm gonna have to reposition the bandsaw because the camera keeps losing me every time I walk behind it. And we got this one. It's hard to tell, but it's real thin here and real thick here. Let's put this up. Let me move the bandsaw because this is going to be a problem honking around with the camera. There we go. Still following. I think we're done with this. No, we're not done with that. Hopefully we don't need this hammer no more. If we need that hammer, something went wrong. Kobe. Yeah, there's got to be something wrong with the chat room. Sorry, guys. The only thing I did differently was I had to put basic moderation on the chat room because a couple days ago, or a couple streams ago, I mean, I'm all about free speech. Come in, say whatever you want. But we had a couple hooligans come in the chat room and say some pretty messed up stuff. So I realized, oh, okay, I see. The internet is wild. Unfortunately, a few bad apples can spoil the bunch. But you're still open to say whatever the hell you want. Just not obscene stuff. Good Lord. Why would you say that about your mom? Good enough. All right, let's see how we can joint. It's a pretty cool angle. Maybe I can get a close-up. Oh, I do need my little flat block, don't I? Might be able to get this out. Yeah, we'll flick back and forth here. That'll be fun. There is an extension cord right here for the joiner and the planer, but I have to have my laptop hooked up to it for now. Streaming sucks the juice out of the battery pretty quick. All right. try this. It's still going? Not gonna work. Best I had. try figuring out what's wrong with the chat. I don't know. Beats me, everything looks fine. Yeah, I mean, if I type, it works. Ah, there he is. Hey, Ricky. Thought something was wrong with the chat room, man. Thought I did something wrong. I was trying to get a good angle of the joiner exit, but all my hoses got tangled up, and then it was too close to the computer. I'm going to slide him over here. See, this is the first time I've done planing with the multicam setup, so I don't know what angle's going to work here. Let's learn together. Maybe like this. Let's try that. And when you get a little in, a little out. Hopefully this cord's long enough. It is, barely. What did you miss out on? Not much, man. So basically I came out this morning and adjusted that dowel that was in the way for the door. Took me 3 tries to get the dowel in the right place. Long story, I drilled it wrong twice. It was off plane. Anyways, I got the door flush with the rest of the carcass. Came out and did math. My goal for today is actually get the top pieces milled, cut to size, and installed. And then I'll sand everything and paint it off camera because that crap's boring. Yeah, and then I was rough cutting this at the bandsaw and the bearing guide slipped. So I fixed that. So you really didn't miss much. I'm just glad to know the chat room's working. Okay, so at this point, these boards could actually use to be milled a little more. There's a little roughage there. But they're already as thin as I want them to be. And obviously, the top of the planer box isn't this long, so I can just chop that off, delete that, and it'll be fine. So at this point, we're going to go back and forth between the bandsaw and the planer, and hopefully cut 16 boards to size, to dimension. I need, did I say 8 or 1, 2, 3, 4? I need 8. Why the hell was I trying to make 16? I only need 8. I might have mentioned this, yeah, I think I mentioned it yesterday. I'm live streaming this planer box, and then I'll make a long form version. Even though nobody really watches long form videos, it's just nice to have a library of how to do this. So I'll make a cheesy long form video on making the other planer box. And I found the hard way. I have to turn the bandsaw this way, or the camera loses me when I walk behind the damn thing. There we go. Are you guys looking at my bald spot? I saw you looking at my bald spot. I'm gonna grab my bandsaw fence. If you guys come across any good deals on a decent brand new bandsaw, if you find sales, let me know, because I'm so ready to donate this to the sidewalk. Let's get a dink. Measuring tape. Now I know this is redundant, but as far as I know, this is the best way I can mill lumber and lose the least amount of material. If I take it over to the table saw, you start hogging out like 1/8 of an inch every cut, and this is much smaller. I forget what the kerf of this bandsaw blade is, but it's significantly less than a table saw blade. So let's go to 9/16. Now we'll go 5/8. We'll go 5/8. That way, if something wobbles, something goes crazy on me and I don't realize it, at least because the last time I milled lumber, something wobbled on here and I wound up losing a couple pieces, and then I had to begin the whole process over. So we're not doing that again. Nothing I can do. Follow me. bad. Same here. Same here. I don't know. Can you guys hear me over the? Can you guys hear me over the dust collector? I didn't think so. That's why I haven't been talking. Plus, I figured you guys usually, I assume, turn down the volume when I turn that dust collector on. It's probably annoying. Last one, last one. What? I'm still not sure what happened on that. The very last board, I got going too fast and something slipped. So we'll just make this one work. Okay, it's getting hot as hell out here. Let's see what I missed. Sorry, I saw somebody saying something. That's a machine I never owned. Which one's that, Ricky? The bandsaw is another machine I never owned. Interesting. They're great. Old ones suck. They're great. Mr. Curry, welcome to the room. So we got our 8 pieces ready to go. It's getting really hot out here. I think I might have to take a layer off. Put on a little show for you. I'm just gonna wheel this completely out of the way for now. But actually we're done with the joiner, the bandsaw. We just gotta plane these mows flat, cut them and attach them. And I realize honking with the dust collection and the power cords is kind of annoying in a live stream. So I'm gonna get that fixed. I kind of optimized the shop for long form videos, which nobody really watches long form videos unless it's like a library of knowledge to come back to. So that's something to work on, is getting power to every tool without screwing around with everything. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but I forgot to set the brakes on these casters. And what the hell? And while I was making the first cut at the bandsaw started walking away on me. I had to get my feet involved. Look like a rock star. Woo! Makes me think of Jim Brewer doing AC/DC, the hokey pokey. Woo! I got an idea. There you go. And actually, while I was doing all that, I realized I got a couple of good ideas for alternative angles. Actually, if I could find a way to secure it, I could put my phone through the planer. That'd be crazy. I'm hoping I can keep these. I cut them to 5/8. So that leaves me 1/8 of an inch to mill off these. I'm hoping to not go less than 1/2 an inch. What are we at? Hour and a half? Let me see something here. No, too much. Too little. There we go. That mustache has its own zip code. And so does this bald spot in the back of my head. All right, earmuffs. It's gonna be loud as hell. I realized I also need to get a remote control for the dust collector. So I think we got all of our pieces finally milled to size. The only thing we got to do now is find them, because I just threw them all over the shop trying to stream that. And my plan, and what I'm thinking is 3, 4 for this project, 4 go to the long form video that no one will ever watch. So what I'm thinking is cut a miter, a 45 on one end, and we're going to go side by side. I mean, theoretically, I should be able to just make a frame. If it was a normal box, I would just make all 4 sides, glue them together with the frame clamp, and then put it on top and pop dowels in there. But the variable is the fake panel that's a false door. That's not a false door. The false panel that's a door is going to throw a little bit of a hitch in the giddy up, if you will. It's not like I can really frame clamp 3 pieces of a mitered frame. And I hate to draw this process out any longer, but that's kind of the only way I can think of. Yeah. What's going on in the chat room? Everybody being nice? I don't want to have to turn this car around, because I will. There. Are you still there, Jake? So you got Jake Curry and Hoyt JC. So I don't think Jake's there anymore. It's okay. Well, at least 52% of the people watching this think I'm going to get this done today. So yeah, we're just going to go side by side. Let's head over to the miter saw, and I'll bring the close-up cam. Try helping. Ooh, I almost broke my phone. You can tell I'm getting near the end of a project when the entire shop is destroyed and every tool I own is laying on a horizontal surface. I don't think anybody's in here right now, so I'm just going to clean up for a second. I might have to take a time out and go take off this sweater. This quarter zip. And I think that bearing guide on my bandsaw was starting to slip again because it was making some noises. I think that came out of that one. Yeah, I don't think Jake's here anymore. We lost him. You know, it's way too early for water dog dance. Well, what time is it? 1:30, so it's like 8:30 there. Put you up there. Alright, so I'm going to start by... Ooh, glad I saw that. Let's mark that before we go on. There's a little bit of bandsaw that didn't get didn't get planed out, so we're gonna have to get rid of this end. Now let's just go ahead and check all these for defects. Checks, bandsaws. Can't really see it here, but there's a little bit of a, I don't know if that's a check or a little tear out from the, ran out of pencil lead. Just want to see how exciting it is to put pencil lead in. I don't think I had done this since high school. And then when I started woodworking, I got one of these. The reason I like the mechanicals over a number 2 Ticonderoga is, yeah, you can instantly like reload it. You don't have to keep sharpening it, but it's always that fine of a point. All right. I think we identified all the defects, so. This is how I hook up the miter saw. Mm. Just found another defect. I see you, Ricky. Thanks for hanging out, man. I just found another defect in this one, so we're going to chop a little more off. We're just going to chop it up real quick. There's a little bit that didn't get planed out right here. What is going on? He's not following me. Hope there's no material left. Yeah, should be. That's why I prefer metal weld grinder hammer. What's going on, Al? Welcome to the shop, man. Thanks for joining. So yeah, that leaves us plenty of hangover. All right, how? So I hate to run back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, but I don't foresee another way to do this. So my thought is mark where the cut should be on here, and then we'll sneak up on it. Okay. And that's not my pencil, that's the pen. Anytime I'm cutting miters too, so if I'm sneaking up on a cut, I mark where it should be, and then I mark the angle of the cut. Because you don't want to get over at the miter saw and get all twisted around. Forget what the hell you're doing. And I've only milled up enough. Actually, where'd my... Let me grab a square. This will help make it a lot more accurate. Dude, I think it'd be cool to learn how to weld, but then that's a... You know, it's like, I've got enough hobbies. I don't need a welding problem. See if I can manage to hold all of this. And then Mister, where am I, Mike? What the hell? Did my pencil just break? Bro. Kiss my ass, man. The pencil just broke. Ugh. You see, I marked the angle. Huh. That would have been hard to explain why I had to cut that twice. For some reason that board wasn't perfectly straight and flush with the miter saw fence. And when, at least I noticed it. So I cut it a little longer than it needed. Now we're just going to keep snipping little bits off. I think we are going to get the stop block out. To make this go faster, I am just going to make all three of the outside pieces the same size. Yeah. To make this easier, I'm going to make all three of the outside top frames the same size, glue and blue tape them together, let them sit for a while. I don't think it's going to be long enough to cure. We'll figure it out when we get there. We can remove a major chunk of this. Yeah, as long as that doesn't interfere with that. Ooh. The plot thickens. Yeah, I really have to hog some off. yeah, we're gonna get these cut to size. I'm gonna glue and blue tape them. So yeah, the 50% that said no, you're gonna be right. And here's why. I didn't think of this. So if this was a perfect 4-piece frame, this would sit there, and this edge would intersect this leg in the corners, right? But if it's there, that dowel hits it. And if I cut a notch in this, that's going to be really obvious. It's not going to look like a hidden panel. It's going to look like a frame with a notch hanging out of it. So we're going to have to offset this by that, and then custom cut this front frame to fill in the gap. So yeah, whoever said we're not getting this done today, you're right. But at least at this point, I can set it on the side, consider it almost done. I can tinker with it a little bit off camera. Because tomorrow, you guys are probably going to get to see what my spare bedroom, my guest bedroom looks like. Looks like a storage unit. I forgot to bring it. Bring my piece. Make sure this thing's still. I mean, we're almost there. I'm going to say most of a sawtooth. Oh, yeah, look at, yeah, now it says no. Yeah. So yeah, I'll get these 3 cut to size. We'll add glue, tape it up, and then I gotta go help clean the house. We got guests coming over tomorrow. All right, let's cut the other 2 to this size and see if how it's shaping out. Because for me, it's not natural to have that not. Yeah, let's cut them off. Left mark. And cut 2 more. hold that. There we go. All right, let's see how these line up. I'll bring this just in case this gets interesting. Hopefully noon. That's the goal. That way I can get my noon or earlier. A little bit of overhang. Uh-oh. See, now that one's... See, it's always a little hard to tell how this stuff translates on miters until you do it. Okay. So, I think we can make this work. Yeah, we're going to glue these together first. So here's what I'm looking at. And unfortunately, so ideally there would have been an ideal, not an ideal, you know, like a slight overhang on the inside, which there is on this side, and this side, which makes sense. But to keep the frame from interfering with the dowel hole, I've had to scoot everything back that way. So this piece is, there's no overhang, but it's sitting flush, which I don't like. But we're gonna have to live with it. At least the plywood, the panel's not exposed, so that's cool. So let's get these glued and blue taped, and we'll hang it up for today. What time is it? Yeah, I got family coming over tomorrow. I'm supposed to help clean. I got to vacuum and do dishes. Ugh. Ah, the first glue up on the old new workbench top. I don't know. What's your preference on the sound of the air filter? Air filter on or off? I think if it's on, it at least breaks up the odd silence. But it also makes people think it's raining here. Is it raining there? Sounds like you got rain moving in, bub. No, actually, I think it's supposed to be nice today. And they're all uniform sizes, so it doesn't matter which one I put where. And then I think I'll put dowel locators. I'll put dowel locators in the carcass and then gently press this down on those. Let's grab these. Blue tape. I can't believe I got this much done in 2 hours though. Keep in mind, this whole project, I didn't come out here with, I didn't go to SketchUp and spend hours, honking around trying to figure out how to design this thing. I literally came out here, I knew I wanted a planer box. I knew I wanted to be able to hide a cooler that's like, I think I don't even have the cooler. I just looked off the dimensions on the internet. I think it's like 10 inches tall by 13 wide, 13 long, and I have to move this out of the way. So the whole idea is to come out here and show you don't actually, it's not that you don't have to have a plan, okay? That's not the point. It's the whole thought is if I can do it, you can do it. And if I come out here and my dumbass is just winging stuff and I can get it done, it's possible. Anybody can do it. Now typically, I used to be the guy who, I don't have SketchUp though. I don't use CAD, computer aided design. I pencil and paper, that's me. But like when I designed my media wall, I'm not even going to say I really had specific plans for that. But I at least had the dimensions outlined. I looked up the standard sizes of TVs. I did do planning. But the whole idea here is, I'm a stooge. Come watch me be a stooge. Okay. That's not the best, but it'll work. And yes, this is not going to be a very strong joint, which is kind of making me nervous about putting the dowel locator pins in the carcass and then pressing this down on top of it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I might reinforce these. Maybe I'll do that tonight if I get bored. All right. I'm getting a brush for this. Yeah. This poor little silicone brush has been through it, man. He's down to about 15 little hairs left. I think this might have been one of my, no, I think he was the second one. The first one I had was down to like almost no little hairs on it. Little bristles, silicone bristles. All right. I don't really care about the workbench, but I do usually try to not get glue everywhere. So what we'll do is this move, and then put it on here and just make sure it's laying flat. That one's off a hair. There we go, just press it down. Good as gold. There's a little discrepancy, but it's not bad. I think I might get an F-clamp out just to apply a little pressure inward. Not much, Not much. Because if I really bite down with this, it's gonna really mess it up. But I think if I apply it towards the inside of the frame, it'll help keep it. I'm not even gonna turn it. I'm just gonna kind of. You know, just something to keep it, yeah, perfect. And then maybe I can, then I'll come back in like 15 minutes and lift this up just to make sure it's not stuck to my bench. It'll probably be stuck to the bench. I don't give a damn. A little squeeze out. Come back and check that out here in a little bit. Overall though, not bad. All right. So I think we're good for today. Did I miss anything? Yeah, I thought it was too, man. I just didn't account for those dowel holes, dowel slots. But yeah. All right. Well, let's try this, see what this looks like. There we go. New angle. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with me, watching me be a dumbass in the shop. Be sure to go to my YouTube channel, look at the community page if you've got a project that you're working on. If it's obviously business related, I mean, don't show anything like that. But if you got personal projects that you're working on that's on your workbench, post a picture. Let me know what you're working on. And then I've also mentioned the shop dogs before. I love shop dogs. My shop dog is going through something right now, so she can't be on camera. Yeah. Thanks again. You can get up. If I can do it, you can do it. Get up and do it.